Hey everybody, how's it going? We are back with something that is a little bit different, but brought to us by Freehold Games. This is called Caves of Qud, or Qud, or however you want to pronounce it, I suppose. Something a little bit different than what I have been doing. And this is I don't even know how to describe it. The size of the world is massive. Came out in 2015, I believe. It's still in early access, but it is a wonderful game full of all types of cultures, learning mechanics, and everything of the sort. So initially when you come into the game, it's going to be very confusing. And with a little bit of deeper research, you can really learn how to make the game work for you. For me, I had to watch some YouTube videos, the classic. But essentially, when you start out here, you've got a couple of options. You've got your classic, which is permadeath. You're going to lose your character. You're going to die, especially the first 10, 15, 20 times or so. You've got roleplay, which I haven't checked out, but you get checkpoints at settlements, meaning if you die, you probably go back to the settlement. You get wander, which makes most creatures neutral towards you. You don't get any XP for fighting monsters or anything in that way. And you also get checkpointing at settlements, and then you have your daily. What this is essentially every day for 2023 days, they add a new character. For instance, today is a water merchant who's a mutated human. They're a humanoid. You have base stats on the left, mutations on the right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go classic. We're going to go presets. And you have the options to choose mutated human or truekin. Now, from what I've read and what I understand, mutated humans are a little bit easier to play with because of the mutations provided to you. That make life a little bit easier, whether that's multiple arms, multiple legs, or anything you could think of in between. Truekin is more reminiscent of a normal human, but the difference being your attributes are higher, as they need to be, because you don't have the mutations needed to survive certain areas. Whereas Truekin have access to cybernetics, things that enhance their skills, things that let them assess what's going on around them, and things of that nature. Now, in the short time that I've played this game, I think at the time of this, I'll have 10 hours, 12 hours. I'm just scratching the surface. I have barely delved deep. I haven't progressed out of the quote-unquote starting area. But we're going to get in here, and we're going to talk about some things, right? So, when you come in, you've got a couple of base classes for the mutated humans here. And each of them have different survival ratings, how difficult they are, if you will. Kind of like Dark Souls, right? Obviously, you're going to have an easier time with a preset class than you would with the, what was it? The dude that starts with no equipment or anything. However, most people prefer that, right? It is what it is. So you got a couple of different options here. You've got the Marsh Tar, which is a charge-based, move in, high DPS, get out. Still able to maintain good health, it's got good toughness. You have a Dream Tortoise, which is essentially, think, tank. You can put enemies to sleep around you with sleep gas. It's pretty sweet. Gunwing, just as it sounds, that is a range-based fighter. You have access to bows, rifles, pistols, everything of that nature. You have your Star Eye, which is your mental-based. Mental-based essentially means, for ease of explanation, let's say magic. You can control other creatures' minds. You can make things non-aggressive towards you, and if you have certain skills, you can even take control of certain animals. And while you have control of that animal, if your main character dies, you switch over to the consciousness of the animal. So if you cast that spell on, say, a spider, you now live out your life in Caves of Qud as a spider, doing whatever spiders do, which is something that I would like to venture with later on. Oh no. Something that I definitely like to venture with later on, once I get more comfortable with the combat. I haven't messed with the Fire Frond, but here it says they're a hybrid melee fighter and mental caster. You can set enemies on fire. You cause harvestable plants to grow nearby. This one's interesting because this one kind of sounds like your whole goal is to be sneaky. But for ease of understanding, we'll go with the Marsh Tar. So what you're going to see here is you got your attributes on the left. Strength is weapon-based, how much you can carry, so on and so forth. Agility is how quickly you move. Toughness is your health stat, right? So I think most baseline people, from what I read, you want it 16 or higher in order to get to where you want to be. So Marauder is our class. We're a mutated human. We're a humanoid. Now we have Freezing Ray, a very interesting mutation. Freezing Ray essentially applies to whatever is attached to your hands. So with that, if you are, say, holding a mace in your right hand, now you're dealing frost damage with that mace on top of whatever stacks it has. Now, like I said, I've got maybe 10 hours at the time of this video. So I don't completely understand everything. I would like to make this a series that as we go forward, we can all share together and learn together. Or if you have played Caves of Qud before, you can educate me. You've got multiple legs, since we are essentially a centaur-esque humanoid. We have a sprint ability, which is pretty cool. Amphibious is interesting. So we consume water at a higher rate, but instead of needing to drink, I'm pretty sure we just dump it all over ourselves. And teleportation, which will teleport you to a random point in the map. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We are just going to go with a random name, and then you have your starting locations. So each one has various difficulty levels or challenges. And we are just going to go ahead and go with Joppa. It's recommended for new players. Game's going to load up here. You've got some cool little quotes down at the bottom, which are very interesting actually and contain lore. So sometimes it's good to pay attention to them. So here you have your text-based intro to the game. If you ever need help, you can hit F1 for explanations. So you've got your text box on the right-hand side because it is a text-based game. There is no time passing right now because we're not moving. Time passing is based on movement. For instance, if I move one tick up, you might see some creatures move around. But it doesn't look like anything's... Oh, there it is. The cat's moving. See? As you can see, the cat will shift around and move. Down at the bottom of our screen here, we've got all of our abilities. So as we pass by corpses, we have a chance to butcher them. Charge, Dismember, Freezing Ray are all some of our attack skills. Make camp, you can set down a small campfire to eat food, regain HP, and restore your hunger a little bit, which this is interesting because when I started this, I had no idea of it. I think I saw a video from Splattercat? It might have been from Splattercat. And I got really interested because I've been on a really big Dwarf Fortress kick as of late, and I'm waiting for adventure mode. And a lot of people I saw online were talking about, hey, if you're waiting for adventure mode on the Steam version, you might as well go and try out Caves of Qud, because it's pretty awesome. And I was like, well, sounds like a good deal to me. So let's talk about the screen a little bit, right? So I'm not sure what some things mean. Like that whole center bar right there. As you can see right here, this whole bar right here, this portion right here has to do with your attack. Oh, that's what it is. That makes sense. Attack value, defense value. Don't know what that means. But over here on the left, you can see the temperature of the game. You can see your sprite up here in the top left as well, so you can identify where you are on the map. You have your name, you've got your health, and your level. Now your health bar looks big. Don't let that fool you. You are squishy right now. Next to that, next to the temperature gauge there, you have sated and wet. So essentially, we are well fed and we are well hydrated right now. We need to maintain a sense of wetness because we're amphibious. And then you have your weight, how much you currently weigh, because there is an encumbrance system. So we are currently sitting at 38 pounds out of 349. We're essentially pack mule. It's all them extra legs. And how much money we currently have on our person. 32. Now, before we really get in depth here, you've got some various different things. You can toggle your mini-map on and off. Nearby items list. You can look. So the look feature is really neat, right? You can kind of pan around. Oh, don't know what that was. You can kind of pan around and you can look at everything around you. So if I want to look at this farmer, it'll tell you the farmer's name, Mehmet. They are neutral towards us, and right now fighting them would be impossible for us. They would frankly twist us in two and feed us to their water vines. You can see different things about them, what they are equipped with, who they get along with and don't get along with. He's not liked by trees, which is an interesting thing. You can have full conversations with various animals in the game. It's an interesting little ordeal, and we'll get more into that. So we have the time, or not the time, the date rather, up there. And then it'll tell us where else we are up here in the top right. You can't see it because, you know, I use good old NVIDIA for recording, but it is what it is. You have your text-based whatever's happening around you. This is where you're going to see your battle feed. This is where you're going to see conversation, important events, and everything else. So, down here at the bottom, we can see active effects. Target, you have no missile weapons equipped. So what this essentially means is that we have no ranged weapon, as it is. Target, we have no target at the moment, and we have no active effects on us. Now, if we hit X, this takes us to our character sheet. Think building a character D&D style, if you will, if you're familiar with that, or if you're not, think about like your skill tree in Skyrim, right? Plenty of people are familiar with that. There's various other games that you could choose, Fallout, so on and so forth. So you have all your base skills, and then in order to see what the skill does, you'd hit spacebar on it. This tells you what your strength is, your agility, so on and so forth. That's how you add to it. Well, my apologies there. Okay, so we've got all that. It tells us what class we are, in case you forget. How many active effects you have on you, which that'll play a factor later on. And then you can spend your MP, which we have 4 of, to buy a new random mutation. MP, mutation points. See, that makes sense. So we have our various mutations over here, right? So as you can see, we've got Freezing Ray. You can emit a ray of frost from your hands, freezing nearby enemies, thus allowing you to move away, heal up, attack, so on and so forth. Now you're going to see the various dice roll format, which, to be fair, I don't truly understand. But essentially, what that comes down to is you're going to roll 1 dice 3 times and add 1 to it, I think. And then so on and so forth. Get out of there, and then you can see what each one does. So, like I said, Multiple legs, giving us that move speed and the carry capacity. Amphibious, your skin must be kept moist with fresh water. You pour water on yourself rather than drinking it to quench your thirst. You require about 2/3 more water than usual, and we have a plus 100 reputation with frogs. We're cool with the hobby, boys. And then you have teleportation. Teleport to a random location within designated area, uncertainty radius 12, cooldown 100 rounds. Sounds like a lot, but realistically every time you move is a round, so it's not that many, about 100 movement. So I think that pretty much covers everything here. We'll go into the buy a new random mutation. We don't have the mutation points. Tragic. So here you have your skills, right? So we're going to collapse everything here, and you can kind of see it, what each skill there is. Now each skill plays a different role depending on the type of class you want to be. Do you want to be somebody that travels from town to town, learning and educating yourself? That's a perfectly viable option. Reading books will level you up. I'll say that again. Reading books will level you up. You could just be a traveling smart guy. Whatever. A scholar is what that's called. And then you have your various other things. You've got your cooking and gathering. So what this essentially does is you could make all kinds of foods that bestow special effects on you. So if you want to be a traveling war chef, that's an option. You can do that. If you want to be somebody that practices axes, the bow and the rifle, cudgels, which are your, there it says it there, crushing and bludgeoning weapons, maces, hammers, so on and so forth. Dual wielding, customs and folklore, which is pretty interesting. You've got endurance, which is going to be swimming, stuff like that. All that's important. You don't want to drown. It's a bad time. Heavy weapons, long blades, persuasion, pistols, self-discipline. And then each of these have a myriad of multiple skills that go in them. And this is just base game. This is, I don't have any items from the workshop or anything like that, but there's a lot to do. A whole lot to do. So that's the basic understanding of your skills. Every time you level up, you get a certain number of SP, skill points, to spend on various skills. Here you have your inventory, essentially everything that you have on your person. As you can see, we've got bear jerky, torches, witchwood bark, water skin. Now, some of these, even though they list themselves as meds, the witchwood bark, and well, if you look at it like that, won't show you what it actually does. Sometimes you have to use things to experience what they are. For instance, when I first started playing, I got hurt, so I said, oh, I'll take some witchwood bark. Guess what, guys? Witchwood bark makes you hallucinate. When I tell you that I was so confused I thought the game was broken, that was an interesting time. It was a combination of not paying attention and not knowing enough. However, there is an item that is oftentimes sold with witchwood bark that will cure that confusion. So you take one in tandem of the other, but that's 2 turns. The witchwood bark, although it appears as if your map changes, actually doesn't change the map. It's just like you get confused. Your enemies remain in the same spots. Most of the time you can maneuver in and out of areas still, as long as you can remember. That's a difficult one for me. Next, you have your equipment. This is what you have equipped on your person. So we've got furs. We have a bronze battle axe, a lit torch. Torches are important. When you lose your line of sight and you're just stumbling around in the darkness, it gets a little stressful, especially once you hit those higher levels. So I think it's a good idea to keep your hand on some torches. So as you can see, there's a various amount of things, and my equipment sheet's a little bit different because I do have the multiple legs. I've got 4 feet and hind feet, 2 sets of shoes, 2 times the drip, but essentially you can see what the various things do here. So you're going to see a couple of different symbols. I really don't even understand all of what they do. However, I know that blue diamond is your defense rating. So there's that. And then you have your reputation. These are all of the various factions of the game, and there are a lot. That's a ton. That's quite a few. Haven't seen that many factions since Stalker. If you know, you know. Outside of that, you also have your Quests tab, your Journal, Tinkering. You can build and mod things. Sounds pretty interesting. Not something that I've played with yet, but I am going to be making a character to check that out. And that pretty much covers it. So let's start off with why Joppa is the most friendly area to begin with. You get access to a trader. You get access to a initial quest that is relatively, I'm not going to say very easy. I'm sure for people who have been playing the game for a while, it may be. However, I've died like quite a few times. I've only ever made it past there once and was with one of the turtle guys. Just because I don't know when to run. I like to stick out the fight. But a very interesting area here because you have access to your initial quest here, which is essentially they want us to go to a cave to the north that we call Red Rock, and we want to fight a monster in Red Rock. Well, not what I meant to do. We accept the quest, and then there's various other options that you can do around here. We're going to pop in here. We're going to close the door, and all of your actions are key-based, so there is no clicking. There can be, but, you know, where's the fun in that? So I'm going to access this chest, and this chest is important. Or there's multiple chests spread out around here that have various items in it that can make your starting game a little bit better. So, right off the bat, we got another torch from there. That's cool, but for longevity purposes, that's not going to keep us alive. We'll come up here to this chest, pop it open. We get a bronze battle axe. We've already got one of those. Again, not looking super promising for us there, but that's alright. And you want to close the doors when you're going through chests because they aren't yours. Stealing things is bad, guys, but we do it anyway. Because I just want to do hood rat stuff with my hood rat friends. So we got a small cobalt tube, which is going to sound as an artifact. We're going to space that. We're going to examine it. We are not smart enough to figure out what it is. An interesting time. So we also got some food. That's going to help with longevity purposes. We got a glow sphere, which I'm not sure. It's opaline, human hand, and glows with the light of auroras absorbed eons ago. So we have a long-term light source. Really cool. We have a bandage, which is good for bleeding. We got an extra bronze battle axe, some water skins to store fresh water in. Now, merchants, if they don't have enough money, will trade you in drams of water. I'm not sure how much a dram is, but we'll call it an ounce. Not 100% on that, though. So, various text options here to go through, lots of lore to gather. So, if we go to who are you? So, no XP for that one, but that's okay because we can trade with him. So we're going to evaluate what we can do here. So we've got some interesting options here for purchase, and you can see, you know, generally you can see the damage variables. I'm not sure what the arrow for heart 1d2, you know, 1 dice, is that 1 dice, 2 rolls? I'm not sure. And then it averages out. Not 100% on that. So, you know, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but from what I understand. Now, you might be tempted to sell certain things that have a good price tag on them. I would recommend not, because oftentimes if something has a high price tag, then you might be able to use it later on. However, if it does not add to your playstyle, it does not add to the character that you are building, sell it. Get rid of it. There's no sense in hoarding stuff. Unless you have a plan for later on, then by all means, find a chest somewhere. But what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to sell our bronze battle axe. Throw a plus on that, and we hit O for offer. He'll have to pony up 1 dram of water to even up the trade. Agreed. Because he has no money, therefore he has to trade in his water supply. Fair enough. Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing business. We've got some various scraps here that we could also sell for some extra cash. We're not going to. And we will go along our way. So like I was saying, there is various methods to playing this game here. A lot of different ways to play, a lot of different things to do. Let's see who this guy is. Orden Walrig. So this is an interesting one. Your thirst is mine, my water is yours. We can begin the water ritual, word's hard, for 1 dram of water. We earned 1 dram of water. Why not? So you get reputation bonuses, minuses, so on and so forth. Who cares? Lots to learn about that. Now, the more that you build your relationship with this village, you can get different things and get different skills. And you can also apparently gain them as companions from them by doing the water ritual, because water is very important. A cat. You want to pet the cat? Pet the cat. You pet Cetesiphus. His name meows. Or her name. You start to glow. So we got an active effect. You want to view your active effects, like we talked about earlier, pull up your character sheet here. You did enter on active effects. Phosphorescent. Radiates light in a radius of 3. So that means in 3 blocks away you can see. Torch or no torch. Pretty interesting little business you got going on there. Almost makes you wonder, we got that from petting a cat. What else can we get from just grabbing stuff? Respectfully, of course. So, without further ado, we're going to pop over here and do one other quest I know is available in present. We're going to annoy this man. Here, for all of you who like to read, I'll leave this here for a moment so that you can read. I also enjoy reading. I've just read this multiple times. A little bit more, some mumbling, some throat clearing. He wants us to find knickknacks. Where can I find a cave? There are caves everywhere, you dolt. So, fetch Argive a knickknack. We found a knickknack in that artifact that we had, that syringe that we could not figure out. And here's your knickknack. We'll give the artifact over. Small cobalt tube, sure. Easiest 75 experience we ever got in our life. You swell with inspiration to name your furs. Do you wish to? Why not? Let's do... choose a random name from Argive's culture. Select the name Yishramumir for the furs. Choose a color for them. I like red, so we're going to go with red. He wants us to fetch another trinket for him. Easier said than done. Interesting. So we just got 2 additional quests on top of the one that we had already accepted. So, some things that you can do here that we've covered. You can grab the various chests spread around. If you come up to here, somebody is shouting their praise to their god across the screen there. There's various religions, I believe. And we have a shrine to Reshef, the last sultan. We'll pray. Nothing happens. That's fine. And with that, we will head to the world map. We are going to check our equipment here. Our torch is still blazing, so no issues. So the way that you check your world map, and this took me a minute, you're going to hit shift, and then the, I don't know what that is. It's the greater than or less than equal sign. That'll take you to your world map. So here you can see you've got various things. You can see our little sprite right here. And as you pass through areas, you can adventure, explore, find all kinds of things. So we're going to hit look. The map is massive. You can go to every single one of these little blocks and have the potential to find caves of various different things. Now, different areas going to have different kinds of aggression, different kinds of dangers, and things of that nature. And the cool thing about this is you will never have, aside from some of the quests and key locations, you will never have the same game. Everything will change. You have various areas that have different types of difficulty in surviving. You've got marshes. Let's just see here. We got desert canyons, hills, jungle, flower fields, all kinds of stuff to really check out and explore through. So for now, we are just going to pop up. Oh, we got lost. We have to try and regain our bearings. So now what I'm doing here is I am hitting Alt to try and identify any dangerous creatures that could be near us. Not seeing any. So we're going to try and explore around here, figure out where we are at. Appears to be a mostly... We're going to hit look. What is this? Wet glow pad. Leap disc gleams through luminous vines. So it has the ability to bite if something attacks it. We're going to pass by these water vines here. Again, not seeing anything of particular danger. But that is not to say that there couldn't be. There's some various dragonflies just kind of floating around here. But nothing too hostile for us, right? So we are going to, and we can't, unfortunately, pop back to the map and pop out. We've got to explore around a little bit. But that is okay because we've regained our bearings. So we're going to pop up here to Red Rock. This is where our starting quest takes place. So we'll go here, and then we'll kind of venture around. Now you can see this rock here on the left. This is all breakable. By the way, if I didn't want to go around, I could just go through, providing I had the equipment or the explosive means to do so. So we're going to venture around and try and find an entrance here to our cave. Looks like there's no critters roaming around, which a couple times I've come through here, there's been various baboons and things of that nature. So without further ado, let us descend. Oh, wrong direction. Alright, so we have descended into the caves. We're going to explore around a bit here, and right off the bat we can see two things there that I know are hostile to us, but you may not. So those vines on the good old wall there, definitely hostile. Way that you can double check this, go ahead and hit your Alt. Boom. You can see both of those highlighted in red. Red is hostile, green is friendly. Other colors, different forms of neutrality or aggression. So we're going to pop down here. We are actually going to back off one. We're going to hit a charge onto the jilted lover there. We're going to cut through these terror vines. Or the dreadroot. Dreadroots have a chance to essentially fear you. We have a campfire here, so if we needed to, ow. You can attack diagonal. I learned this recently using the numpad. Oh, and we have some enemies. So right off the bat, gonna hit them with a freezing ray. Back off a little bit here. We're gonna hit them with a dismember. Somebody just lost a limb. Unfortunate for them, I know. Alright, so pass by a Snapjaw corpse. Now, paying attention to your text display there is very important. Paying attention to your text display will tell you if the corpses you are passing have any type of importance on them. So that is always key. So right here, for instance, you pass by a leather cap, a two-handed steel battle axe, a Snapjaw corpse, and a Snapjaw scavenger's face. We cut someone's face off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop up here, and using our plus and minus over on our D-pad, we're going to get some things. So pop back up, we're going to hit space on the cap, we're going to equip that. A two-handed steel battle axe. I'm going to take that. We've got a pretty high strength level, so I think it is worth equipping that. And then, was there anything else? No. So, an interesting thing about this is I believe, yes, you could take the Snapjaw Scavenger's face and equip it. If you're playing some Fear Factor games with the Scavengers, that's a way to do it, I reckon. With that, we will carry on here. So you've noticed it's gotten dark. That is because I have unequipped my torch. So, unfortunately for now, we are going to have to just roll with the battle axe. We're going to try out this little glowstone. As you can see, over time, or over turns rather, my health regenerates. I'm not sure what that was that just ran away. I'm fleeing from a dread root, but I don't know why. It was hiding in the trash. So we're gonna whip up a meal here. So, rummaging over our surroundings, we found some onyx berries, a chameleon horn, and some platinum dogthorn. Our teeth are made of indestructible materials. Our gut can process anything. Just a little bit of fun text-based stuff. So we're going to keep going this way here. Find a little bat. For the XP. You guys know how it is. Now we have no targets currently set, which is fine. We're gonna pop over here. And just like that, we leveled up. So we gained 3 hit points, 66 skill points, and 1 mutation point. So I'm gonna come into my mutations here. I'm gonna pop one onto Freezing Ray. And essentially, for the various mutations that you get, I really do recommend kind of focusing on skills that are going to help you the most, or things that you feel would help you the most. So right off the bat, we're going to hit him with a good old freeze ray. He froze and exploded. That is tough. So here we have a we had a ranged Snapjaw hunter. So we found a small smoky tube, wooden arrows, and a Snapjaw corpse. Now our character automatically picks up the knick-knack. We are going to look at what we got here. Not that. We are going to look at this. So we've got a woven tunic, bronze two-handed sword, a short bow, which I think that we will actually take. Hopefully he also had daggers, which it does not appear, or not daggers, arrows, which it did not appear that he did. Ow. And then we are going to wait for our friend. There he is. You can pass time manually with the 5 key on the numpad. It's helped a lot. We got another artifact. We also automatically grabbed arrows, so that is good for us. He also has bark armor. we're going to take a look at that. Smells pretty good. Now, one thing that I should look at, to be honest, is if in naming our item... Ooh. Well, it gave it a cool look and it gave it a cool name, but it didn't do anything for us. So we're going to push... Oh. And that is the dangers, folks, of bumping around here. So we are pretty hurt. We're going to fall back. We're going to pop into here. See if we can examine this. Ooh, we got a salve injector. Salve injectors are healing serums without the weird effects of good old witchwood. So we're going to go ahead and apply that to ourselves. And that'll heal us up there for some quick health, which makes us all better. So we're going to look in here. We've got some skill points we can spend, but we don't have any attribute points. I want to up my toughness a little bit more just for the health stat bonus. Looks like it dropped some sap for us. We're going to whip up a meal here. Keep the food up and going. We will continue with our little adventure here as we go. Now, when we find the next dead stair, or the next downwards staircase, we'll probably pause the game there, or we'll explore a little bit more if possible. Oh, nope. So that, folks, will be the end of this first episode of Caves of Qud. I hope you're all doing well, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the video. If this is something that you like, and you would like us to learn together, let me know, because I enjoy this game quite a bit, to be honest. I've been getting pretty into it, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope you are all doing well. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it here, things are in the works for getting the Discord up and running. I've got some stuff to figure out for that giveaway that I talked about. So with that, I hope you all have a great day, or night, or morning, wherever you are. And if you're having a bad day, it's important to remember that it might take a week, it might take a month, it might take a year, it might take multiple years, but eventually stuff gets better. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one.